This mild-looking young man with the salesman's kit made his livelihood from housewives who were not at home.
Mrs. Clark, this is my partner, Dan Kramer.
How do you do? I checked the adjoining apartments, talked to people in the neighborhood. Nobody saw a man enter or leave.
Howard, Dan?
This is Ben Andrews. He's with the Chronicle.
How do you do?
Hello.
Would you go on, please, Mrs. Clark?
Well, he was so young and nice looking. I couldn't believe he was a thief.
About how old?
Oh, 24 or 25.
You notice the color of his hair?
Brown.
Tall, medium, short?
Well, he was rather tall and slim and, well, like a dancer.
Dancer?
Yes, you know, small-boned and almost delicate. But strong. When he hit me, But how did he get into the apartment? I'm sure I locked the door.
Well, he seems to know a great deal about locks, Mrs. Clark. He's been operating in San Diego for about a month now. The newspapers call him the Matinee Mobster.
That was the city desk, not me.
Oh, yes, I believe I read something about it. But I never dreamed this could happen to me.
He works only in the afternoons. He rings the bell or he knocks. And if he gets no answer, he simply unlocks the door and he walks in.
And helps himself. Mrs. Clark, do you mind telling us what he took from your apartment?
Oh, please, nothing in the papers. I don't want my husband to know. Not yet. He just bought the fur coat for me last week, for my birthday.
Wasn't it insured?
Well, that's why I don't want my husband to know. It was supposed to be insured, but... Well, I forgot to mail the premium. Would you mind, please?
Hello? This is Kramer. Yes, he's here. What? Yeah, right away. Your Matinee Mobster hit again. 2 blocks from here, 5th and Walnut.
Oh, well, you go over it once more with Mrs. Clark, will you, Dan? She may be able to add something further. I'll take the 5th and Walnut burglary.
I'll go with you.
Jobs, Ben. He's carried off a truckload of loot, and we're no closer to him now than we were the day he started.
He'll slip. They all do.
What hurts most is that he's not even clever.
He does a nice trick with a lock.
A mail-order detective should be able to nab him, but not me. Not the brilliant Lieutenant Howard Finucane.
You had worse cases and scrambled out of them.
Let's see. 1 mink coat, 5 stoles, jewelry worth almost $20,000. He broke one woman's arm when she walked in on him. Broke another woman's jaw. Detective Bureau, Lieutenant Finucane. Yes, sir. What can I do for you? No, sir. I'm afraid that's impossible. No, sir. We can't supply a guard for your wife's apartment just because she happens to have jewels and furs. Well, if your wife can't sleep because she worries about her possessions, I can suggest a safe deposit box. No, sir. No, sir, we're doing our very best to catch them. Oh, I agree with your wife entirely. Yes, we should try a little harder. Thank you, sir. And thank your wife for us, too. Oh, brother. Dan, get in here.
What's your blood pressure, Howard?
Now, look here. I want you to check the burglary files, active and inactive. We're rounding up every hoodlum in this town who even comes close to answering the description of the man we want.
What did I do?
According to the man's wife, you haven't done anything.
Get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Ladies, the burglar we've been hunting has been a busy man. Most of his crimes have been committed while the woman of the house was absent. You are the only people who got a clear look at his face. Now, in a moment, a number of suspects will walk onto this stage, and they'll take their positions under those 5 numbers on the wall. Now, if your assailant is among them, just write his number down the slip of paper that has been given you. Please make your decisions quietly, and do not help each other. That understood? Thank you. Officer DeVore, bring them in.
Lieutenant, that's the one, the black jacket.
Please, sit down. Thank you, Mrs. Clark.
Well, they all say number 3, don't they?
Yes, they do, Mrs. Clark. But the man I saw in the lineup that you picked out does not quite fit the description you gave us at your apartment. You said small-boned, almost delicate.
Well, he is slim.
But delicate, like a dancer?
Lieutenant, you asked me here to look at a lineup. I did. I identified the man who stole my fur coat and struck me, and now you're trying to get me to change my mind.
Mrs. Clark, you made your choice without help, but you announced it so loudly that you may have influenced the others. I'm not asking that you change your mind. I only ask that you be very sure.
I am quite sure.
Well, I'm glad of that, Mrs. Clark. It would be too bad if an innocent man went to prison. Thanks for coming in.
Howard, there's your chance to get out of the grease. Go along with her and you'll get a big fat vote of thanks from the League of Mink-Coated Wives.
Stop it, Ben.
She saw the burglar. You didn't. It's just possible she's right.
Ben, I talked with the man she picked out in the lineup. He might heist a gas station or a liquor store, but he isn't a burglar. He isn't smart enough to break into a broom closet, let alone breaking into a locked apartment.
Maybe he was acting dumb.
Ben, you've heard assault victims describe their assailants, and you've seen the assailants brought in. Tell me, are they usually larger or smaller than the descriptions?
Usually smaller, by about 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Clark said the burglar was slim, small-boned, delicate. Yet the man she picked out in the lineup was the biggest one of the lot.
Well, never mind the reasons. If your instincts say they were right, I'm with you.
Thanks. That makes you a majority of 1.
Lieutenant, he just hit again. Apartment A322 Brook Street.
Let's go.
I'll see you later.
You the police?
That's right.
Well, I didn't see him go in, but I saw him come rushing out. He ran right across the lawn there while I was watering.
A young fellow with brown hair, slight build.
Yeah, you know him?
No, but we'd like to. Let's look around. Maybe he dropped something. Dan, I want you to guard this print till the lab man gets here. I'll call the station to have one sent out.
I know it's routine, Lieutenant, but do you really think a cast of that print will help?
I got an idea. A very unusual foot made that print.
Called it right on that footprint, Lieutenant. That guy must have been a midget. The lab says he wore a size 5 AAA shoe. My girlfriend's got bigger feet than that.
Bet you won't admit it.
No bet, Ben. Not many men around who wear that size shoe.
No. In which case, he probably has to buy his shoes in a specialty shoe shop. Dan, if you... Oh. Here.
I think I'll get out of here before the drudgery begins. Keep me posted, huh?
That's it.
Only one? Let's go.
May I help you, gentlemen?
Are you the manager?
Bert Webster. I'm the owner.
Well, Mr. Webster, I understand you specialize in shoes of unusual styles and sizes.
Oh, yes, sir. If it's strange or exotic, Webster's will have it.
Good. Do you have a size 5 AAA man's shoe?
Well, I did have one pair. However, one of my salesmen sold it some time ago. It's such an unusual size, I only stock one pair at a time.
This pair you sold, you remember the man who bought them?
Well, a man buys a size like that, it's pretty hard not to remember him. Webster's is used to dealing in unusual sizes, but we hardly ever sell one that narrow.
What did he look like?
Slight, brown hair. As a matter of fact, I can give you that man's name if you want it.
We certainly do.
Well, whenever we sell a rare item like that, I always try to get the name of the purchaser for follow-up, you know. Well, if I couldn't supply him, he'd have to have those shoes custom made, you know that. There it is. Earl Morgan. His home is 326 St. Bardolph Street.
Earl Morgan, 326 St. Bardolph Street. Thank you very much, Mr. Webster. And if you should get in touch with Mr. Morgan later, I'd appreciate your calling headquarters. There's my card. Thank you. 326 St. Bardolph Street. We should have known Morgan wouldn't give a correct home address. He's got too much to hide.
Unit 437.
437, go ahead.
Be 187 at 414 Dexter Hill Drive.
Repeat, please.
Unit 29 reports a homicide at 414 Dexter Hill Drive. A 187.
437, 10-4.
It was that Matinee Mobster again. It's terrible. We are not safe in our own apartment, even in broad daylight.
Now, please, Mrs. Jones, just tell us exactly what you saw.
I heard it first. I was talking on the telephone when I heard a scream. And then there was a terrible thumping noise. Then I ran to the door and opened it.
Go on.
Well, he was tearing out of the apartment and down the hall and out of the building.
What did he look like, Mrs. Jones?
Small, slight even, with light brown hair, just like the paper said. And I was so scared, I thought I'd die right here. I could see Mrs. Jameson lying on the floor, and I just knew she was dead. Then I called the police right away. Do you really believe the mobster is a man, Lieutenant?
Well, Mrs. Jones, we have no reason to think that he isn't.
Well, when he ran, I never saw a man with feet so small before.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Jones.
You look a little grim.
I feel a little grim. Every woman in San Diego is justifiably leaning on the chief. He just got through leaning on me.
I can imagine how you feel. He can lean real hard when he wants to.
We've got a complete description of that little monster. You know what section of town he's been working in? Put out extra patrols. Every woman in San Diego is looking for him. Nothing.
Andrews. Yeah, what's new? He's here. Yeah, we'll be right over. There's Maxie at the newsstand. He's been trying to get a hold of you. Think he's got something.
Let's go.
Hello,
Maxie. How are you?
Benny.
Maxie, what's the misery on the morning line?
Well, if I knew anything, I wouldn't be out here selling papers to make a living.
Come on, Maxie. We haven't got all day.
Lieutenant, why are you always in such a hurry? Them thieves will wait for you.
Maxie, you said you had something.
Well, look, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it ain't worth much. And then again, maybe it is. Do I see a Hamilton there, Lieutenant?
You don't see anything yet, Maxie.
Maybe a fin?
Let's hear it first.
Well, I'll tell you, are you looking for a dark mug with the face of a choir boy?
Come on, Maxie, come on.
Well, I see him last week in a bar, and I overhear a conversation he's having with a guy. It seems like his fence is out of circulation. So he's asking this guy, look, he says, do you know where I can dump some stuff?
Where?
Well, you know, it occurs to me that a big paper like the Chronicle could kind of pay for a little story.
Maxie, so help me.
Wait a minute, hold it. All right. So the guy tells him he knows a fence by the name of Jordan. Ken Jordan. And he operates out of San Isidro or Isidro, all these fancy names.
San Isidro? Where in San Isidro?
Well, it's a batch roost called El Cielo or El Cielo. There goes another one of them names. Now, I don't know whether the punk went to see Jordan, but I do know that was the name that was given. And also, we give him a little something for the info.
How much, Maxie?
Well, I can tell you the thieves pay better than... Well, maybe not much better. Thanks a lot, Lieutenant. Thanks very much.
Anytime, Maxie.
Okay, kids, and you know something, you guys? I'd have told you for nothing. How about that, huh?
Now you tell it. Finucane had secured information from the captain in charge of the San Isidro substation, and through a friend of his, had also secured a large diamond ring.
What'll be, men?
Beer, please.
Same here.
2 beers. Right.
You're buying?
You kidding, man? Pony's knocked me out of the box. I'm flat.
Why is it I always get stuck? Looks like it's on the house.
Oh, no, you don't. There'll be no freeloading in the El Cielo. Now, you get out of here and where you...
now look, Mr.
Do you want me to call the cops?
Give you the
What?
marker.
Hey. Here, take it out of this. Give me one the same, huh?
Delighted.
Thanks a lot, mister.
Okay.
To your health.
It's all right. Sure hits the spot.
Yeah, I like to follow it up with a nice, juicy steak.
And a couple of good-looking gals.
We could get a cab and make it back to Tijuana.
And get even on the dogs.
Hey, bartender, come here.
What is it now? Thank you, sir.
What do you think you could lend me on this ring?
What do you think I am, a bank? Take it to a pawn shop.
They're all closed this time of night.
That's no problem of mine.
Hey, buddy, I'd just like to buy a real nice ring, cheap.
Let's see him. How much?
Say, 500.
500? That ring's worth at least $2,000. You could pawn it for 500. You guys are trouble. Get yourself another sucker.
Mister, we need the money.
Beat it.
Guess we better shove off.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac. Oh, I'm sorry I lost my temper just now. But I know what it's like to be trampled by the ponies. If you really want to unload that rock, I think I know how to help you. Here, let me see it again.
Okay, so you can help us. Like how?
Well, there's a fellow in the back room, name of Jordan. Show it to him.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Mr. Jordan?
Yeah.
We're in a little trouble, pal. The bartender says you might help us out.
Depends on the nature of your beef.
We got a hunk of ice for sale. Thought you might take it off our hands.
Why not take it to a jeweler?
There isn't time. We need traveling money. Tonight.
Little hot.
You said it. I didn't.
No dice. I don't mind lending money to my friends, but I never saw you guys before. And I don't want any hot rocks on my hands.
You can turn it over for 1,000 clams real fast.
I suppose I could, if I had the right connections.
Earl Morgan says you have the right connections.
Morgan?
Sure, he's the one that told us where to find you.
What's your name?
Does it matter? We're from Vegas anyway.
All right, let's see the ice. I maybe could do something for you. Couldn't give you much for it, though.
Bills? Make it $750. It's worth $1,200.
I thought you said you needed the money right away. I don't carry that kind of bread with me.
A lot more where that came from. You give us the right price.
5 is all I have on me. Take it or leave it.
Whew. Well, guess we'll have to take it.
You say you can get more?
Bet we can do better for you than Morgan can.
Maybe, maybe not. I can order anything I want from Morgan, and he gets it. I got a pretty good thing going for me in furs.
Are you looking for anything special right now?
A silver blue mink cape. But Morgan's taking care of that for me. You're under arrest, Jordan.
Cop.
You're all cops.
Not me. I'm a newspaper man. According to Jordan, the silver blue mink, which the matinee burglar was after, could be in any one of 4 apartment houses on University Avenue. Unmarked police cars with car-to-car radio equipment were sent out to cover all entrances leading to University Avenue. In addition, detectives were posted so that anyone trying to enter any of the apartments would be spotted. Think he'll show, Howard?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Lieutenant.
Unit 437 to all special units. Cheviot Arms Apartments. Proceed as directed. You better wait here, Ben.
Lieutenant, that's a Matinee Mobster's last performance.
I'm glad you didn't shoot him.
Why's that?
This way he can walk to the car.
Produced with the cooperation of the San Diego Police Department in conformance with the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics.